have sewn the front and the back of the garment.
Good morning, welcome to week 2 of Vlogmas / Advent / the month of December. I hope you've had a good first week. I've just posted my first video. For me it's yesterday, for you it'll be a week ago. So I hope you enjoyed that if you watched it, or if you're just joining us in week 2, then welcome to whatever it is we're doing here. I filmed, so you'll have seen if you watched last week's video, that I filmed day 6 as a kind of top-down without talking. I also did the same for day 7, so this is actually the intro to the video, but the Advent unboxing you're going to see is from yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit that in now, and then I will join you back afterwards, so you can watch that. So, I hope you enjoyed that. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to open day, what day is it? I'm going to open day 8. And then I'm also going to give you a bit of a recap of week 1, so we can see how week 1 is looking in each of the Advents. And then I'll also catch you up on some crafting. I have finished a hat, and I have some kind of crafting conundrums that I need to work through that I will talk to you about a little bit later. But for now, let's open day 8 of that. Oh, actually, should I do a recap of the first 7 days first? I think I might do that actually. So let's start with this one, because this one's on top. So these are the first 7 days that we have opened of the TedKnits. I'm going to leave them in the bag. I hope that's okay. That might be really annoying. I will actually have to open the Pigment Ply ones because they're all in the box. I'm really enjoying the TedKnits so far. I think I seem to have opened a few colourways that are kind of a bit similar in terms of some of the bluey greys, but I really love this kind of pop of red that we've got and the ivory, and also this sage green. So I'm interested to see how this goes. I like, because this one isn't obviously done day 1 to 24 and it's a bit more random, it feels like anything could happen. So I'm really enjoying the TedKnits, which is our Gothic Advent. I am also, I mean, I'm really enjoying all of these. I shouldn't just keep saying I'm really enjoying all of them. This is the Greenlambkin Yarn's first 7 days. This one is exactly what I wanted this one to be. I've said before about Suzanne, who's the dyer of Greenlambkin Yarns. She has a very, very classic vibe in terms of colours and the way that she dyes, and I think these really, really fall into that. I'm excited to put these together. I think they'll probably be a crochet project, and I'm just excited to see how the month's going. We then have the Yarn Whisperer, which is the Steampunk Oz. And I'm loving this one as well, because I'm getting this on the Corriedale sock base. Corriedale, it seems, I'm not an expert, it seems that Corriedale takes dye a little bit softer than a merino does. Because when Kitey's shown his kind of updates on Instagram, you can see the merino ones at the bottom have a lot more variation in colour going on, and then the Corriedale at the top has less. But I like that a lot. This one, I think, is going to one day become a Stephen West shawl. One of his big ones. I'm just not sure what, and there's 31 days of this, so there's a lot to play with, but really enjoying this one so far. Let me open up the Pigment Ply ones, and then I will show you those all together as well. So this is week 1 of the Pigment Ply Advent. So as you can see, we're alternating variegated and tonals. I'm really, really loving this one. We're definitely still in the kind of more red, warm-toned orange from the mood boards, I think, and I think this one at the end is a sign of that. We're going to start moving towards more of the kind of cool tones, maybe some lighter colours, which I'm excited about. I'm really, really loving this one. This is potentially the next one I'm going to start working with, depending on how this week goes, because I do still have a lot of stuff that I need to do this week. So we'll see how that goes. But I think this might be the next one I start working with. But let me put all these back in the boxes, and then let's open day 8's Advents. Right, a lot of taking things out of and putting things into boxes there. Which one shall I start with? Let's do Greenlambkin Yarns. Let's have a rummage. I haven't taken this out of the bag already, so bear with me while I try and find number 8. So number 8 of Greenlambkin Yarns. This is relatively heavy, so I think there might be something else in this one as well, because it's definitely heavier than 20 grams of yarn. I opened that bag awfully. So this colourway is called Candy Cane Forest. So that's for day 8, and that's an excellent descriptor. I love these kind of mint greens, and I love a green with a pop of pink like that. That's really fun. So that is Greenlambkins, and then also, okay, that's what makes it heavy. So there is a little candy cane, and there is also a little Galaxy hot chocolate packet, which is great actually. I could really go for a hot chocolate. I might have this a little bit later. So that is the Greenlambkin Yarns. Let's have another rummage and let's do the Steampunk Oz. So let's see how long it takes me to find this. Oh, it was literally the first one on there. I was prepared to do like a montage thing, but I found it straight away. So I actually don't think I've read out the colourway numbers for the last 2 days, actually, have I? So let's go back and do those. So the first orange you see there is called Brass Brain Scarecrow, and then the second one is called Steam Lion Courage. Yeah, I wouldn't have read those out because I didn't speak when I opened those. This one is called Clockwork Galinda. So I'm assuming some pink, but we will see. Yes. Oh, that's very pretty actually. So this is Clockwork Glenda. This really reminds me of, I don't know if they have them in other countries. In the UK we have a sweet called a fruit salad, which is kind of a chewy sweet. Yes, like, and this really reminds me of a fruit salad. I really like that. That's a really nice pop of pink in there, but still with some of the oranges. Some of these colourways are gonna, I think when I put this advent together, I will probably play around with the colour. I won't necessarily have to do it in order. And I think some of these colourways are really like fading nicely through each other. So I think that will have a really nice effect in the finished object. But that was Steampunk Oz. Let's do the Pigment Ply, seeing as that one is on top. So, let's put this actually, I have a whole table full, I don't know why I'm balancing this on top of. So, day 8 of this one is called We Grew Quiet About It. And this is the last one of our second mood board. Oh, I was right about us getting a bit lighter. So that's showing up a lot more yellow on camera. It's actually a, I mean it is a warm tone, it's a very kind of, maybe it shows a bit better there, it's a very kind of camel brown, which I think makes sense. Like, I don't think it's the colour of a camel, I've never seen a camel before, but I think it's universally the kind of colour we call camel, so hopefully that also makes sense to you. So that was day 8. I don't think so, it was day 8. They're all day 8. That's the whole point of Advent. Let's do the Crafty Bird. So this is the one. Obviously I haven't done a roundup of this one because this is the one that I'm knitting up through the month. So you will see this one when I show you day 8 knitted into it, and I'll show you the last 2 days that have been added. So day 8 of this one is called It's Much More Friendly with 2, which is from the story in which Piglet is entirely surrounded by water. So, I always get, so it's a bit worried when you get to day 9 and it looks like a 6, but that was definitely a 6, a 9 even. Oh, that's wonderful. I love that a lot. I really love this kind of teal colour that's popping through in there. And that follows on nicely from the greens that we've been having in that one. Really enjoying working with this one. Robin, there's something about the way Robin dyes that really just scratches my brain as to the way that I think of colours, so I'm really enjoying that. And then last but by no means least, we have TedKnits. So, let's do this one, Raven. So I think we're going to probably get another grey, but maybe it'll be like a jet black for Raven. Oh, that's super pretty. So it is a black, but also there's these little speckles or like variegation through it of some green, there's some blue, there's even some little pops of red on the back there. That's very, very pretty. I really enjoy that. So that's day 8 of Advent. Like I said, what I will do is later on I will catch you up with some of my crafting. I have finished one project. I will show you the update on my Crafty Bird Advent project. And then I will just talk to you a little bit later about what my plans are and what's going on. So I will see you then. Hello, it's a little bit later in the day. It's just gone midday and some yarn has arrived. So I thought I would not unbox, unwrap that with you, and then also tell you about my finished object that I mentioned a little bit earlier. So I'm going to start with the finished object and then we will unwrap some yarn. So this is a hat that I finished yesterday. This is the City Walks hat by Celeste Knitwear. It's a free pattern on their website. I'll have it linked down below. This is my second Celeste Knitwear pattern. The first one that I did was the Rosie Dawn hat, which is this one, and I really enjoyed this, so I'm happy to kind of have a second one, although this is a different hat, so actually it's not a second one. This is a kind of textured ribbed hat, so if I show you close up then I'll explain.
what it is it's kind of a mixture of moss stitch and ribbing. So you'll see there's these bands here of knit stitches that knit all the way up. They are surrounded, if I can stretch it out, by 2 pearl stitch and then a moss stitch in the middle where you're alternating, which I think gives a nice little texture, which is exactly what I was after. For these, this is my Wool and Witch Sub Club yarn. This is the October colourway, which is called... Can I find it? Oh, is that it? Ashen Tide is the name of this colourway. So these are the kind of patterns I've been looking for this club, because they're obviously variegated skeins, so something that has a bit of texture to it to give a bit of intrigue to the knitting is exactly what I'm after. And I like the way it fits. I knit it to about 9 inches in total, which is about the standard I knit my hats to on DK yarn. I mean, on any yarn really, actually. The yarn doesn't really make a difference. So it kind of covers the top of my ears and then goes on. This on, I like it. When I finished knitting it, I didn't enjoy the decrease very much, because as you can see, it's kind of bunched. It's quite a quick decrease. It's only 5 rows. But actually when it's on, I like it. So I don't think I'll get a lot of wear out of this. To be honest, I don't think I'll keep this. Purple's not massively my colour. So I'll either give this to my boyfriend because he does like purple, or see if someone else that I know in my family wants it. Because next year, because I've knit a lot of hats this year, next year is going to be the year of giving away hats, because I don't wear them enough to keep them all. I'll keep my favourites though to kind of display in my craft room once I move. But that is the City Walks Out by Celeste Knitwear, so I'm happy to have finished that. Came together really, really quickly. The stitch pattern's nice and mindless, so it didn't take too long to get to the required length of that. So that's my finished object. What I've then got is my final 2 months of the year of the Third Volt Yarns University at Your Doorstep have arrived. Sometimes Lola sends these 2 at a time. So they both arrived, which is actually ideal, because it means, one, I'm not kind of waiting for it in the new year, but also I can now just get this sorted and kind of finished for the end of the year. So I'm going to open both of these, because this is November's and December's. You can skip ahead if you are getting this club and you haven't received these yet, because these literally arrived about 15 minutes ago and now I'm filming this. But actually I'm not posting this for a week, so hopefully they will have arrived with you. So, starting with November's colourway. These are fun stickers as well on the front, fun like yarn stickers. So November's colourway is called Clyra 38C. So if you've not watched my podcast before, the University at Your Doorstep Club is by Third Volt Yarns, and the theme is space, because it follows along with a role-playing game that Lola is doing that's kind of sci-fi themed. So the colourways are often named either something spacey or like after like a planet, that kind of thing. So this is Clyra 38C, and it's a very fun, kind of very galaxy themed, big pops of purple on it. Also these nice pops of blue at the other end as well. I'm excited to see how this knits up. I love when a skein almost feels like 2 coloured, because you never know how those colours are going to play together when you knit them up. If you haven't been watching, and I will probably keep you updated on it this week, I put this into 3 patterns. So I kind of split the yarn up and put it into 3 different patterns that I will talk to you about. So that was November's colourway. And then the final colourway for the year is called Trithler? I don't know, but it is this wonderful teal colour, but there are some pops of purple up at the top here, which I'm assuming are kind of inside the yarn. There are more of. So that is our final colour for the year. What tends to happen with these colourways is, and again, like I said, I'll show you, we tend to get one colourway that's kind of space, so like a deep blue kind of thing, and then we tend to get 2 colourways that are kind of the next one, has been how it's worked. So these are the final 2 colourways. So I'm excited to get these into it, and then that gives me the option to finish 3 projects over the next couple of weeks, because it doesn't take me a lot of time to work these in. They're a DK weight yarn, and they're 115 grams, which gives me plenty of yardage to put them into the 3 projects. So I will show you that as I work with them, but that's exciting to arrive. I wasn't actually expecting that yet. I forgot that that was due. I'm going to now, I have wound up the day 8 of the Crafty Bird advent. I'm going to knit this up now. I'm going to put on probably some Vlogmas, probably maybe a podcast, that kind of thing, to knit this in, and then I will catch up with you a little bit later to show you this and the last 2 colourways and what they look like in my Scattering Petals cowl. So I will speak to you in a little bit. Hello, welcome. Oh, I'm just started talking while moving the tripod. Welcome to day 9 of. Is the camera recording? Yes. Welcome to day 9 of Advent. I lied to you a little bit yesterday. I didn't show you the knitting that I'd done on my Crafty Bird Advent project, so I will show you that today, and I will update you on the 4 days. I lost track of time yesterday because I was doing a lot of packing. So I say a lot of packing. I was doing a bit of packing. I've taken down one more shelf. I have one more shelf that needs to come down, so I need to find a place to put all the books on it. But we're making a little bit of progress. I feel like I have a plan in my head now for packing, which I didn't have before, so I feel a bit better about it. But that's not really why we're here. We're not here to talk packing tips. So let's open day 9 of Advent. And then let's get on with our lives, get on with our day. I'm going to start with the Yarn Whisperer. My brain feels all over the place this morning, I'm not sure why. So day 9 of the Yarn Whisperer, which is the Steampunk Oz one, is called Wicked Mechanica, which is an interesting name. Doesn't really give a lot of clue to the colourway, so anything could be about to happen. Ooh, oh, that's really pretty. So it is a green. It's quite a bright green, but then it also has some speckles of some... is that black or is that a dark? I think that's black kind of running throughout it. That's a very pretty colourway. There's even some kind of speckles of some deeper greens up there as well. That is very pretty. So that's Wicked Mechanica. Day 9 of the Mrs. Claus's Kitchen from Greenlambkin Yarn. Find a bit of paper, yes. So this is called Christmas Pud, is day 9. That's a very festive colourway. So this is Christmas Pud. You've got the kind of browns there, and then some traditional red and green, but also some purples popping through, which is fun. Love that. Which one should we do next? Let's do TedKnits next, shall we? Let's see which colourway we're going to pick out of this one. The box is starting to feel a little bit empty, really. What is this one? Fallen Angel. Let's do Fallen Angel. Assuming this will be a slightly brighter colourway. We've had some dark ones over the last few days. Ooh. That is not what I was expecting, but that is a very nice variegated brown. I think all these colourways are probably showing up slightly more yellow toned because of the lighting, but that is fun from a TedKnit. So that was Fallen Angel. Let's do Pigment and Ply. So this is actually the first colourway of our next mood board. So our third mood board is this one. So that's what we're going to be working with for the next 4 days. And this colourway is called Nothing Left But the Evening for day 9. I can really smell the candle in that one. Maybe I should burn that soon actually. Might put that on a bit later. And this is, oh yeah, you can really see the variegations. The variegations are a bit more subtle in real life than they're showing up on camera, but very pretty. Mostly a brown, but I really like the flecks of the grey that are kind of going through as well. It's got a very like antique-y kind of feel, which is fun. So I'll put that back in the box so that I don't lose track of the numbers of that one.
And then finally, last but not least, is the Crafty Bird. So today's colourway from the Crafty Bird is called Pooh's Thoughtful Spot. I'm wondering whether this one's going to be the one that goes full green or whether we get something new in it. Oh, so it's actually kind of turning more neutral. So there's some kind of pops of brown really coming through now, but still some of that teal and the green coming through. Interesting to see where that goes. So that was Pooh's Thoughtful Spot. One thing I am thinking about, so with my project for this one, I'm not sure whether the 24 days is going to give me enough length on the cowl for it to be particularly wearable. But obviously on this one I'm getting a full 25th day skein. I'm thinking what I might do is instead of using each colourway twice, I might just put that one in a couple of times so that then I can get it to the length I want and hopefully not use too much of that yarn, so then I can still use that full skein for its own project somewhere, I think is the plan. But we'll see how that works out. It's only the 9th. We don't need to make plans for the 25th yet. But that is today's advent. A fun assortment of colours. A lot of green coming through today. So I will see you a little bit later where I definitely will show you the Scattering Petals cowl that I've been knitting on. And we will speak a bit later. Hello, I am back. It's a fair bit later now. I think it was like 9 when I last spoke to you. It's now just gone 2. I have just kind of been pottering around, nothing of interest. But I thought I would stop lying to you and actually show you the progress on my, what is it called? Scattering Petals cowl. So this, a pattern by Dana Rae Makes. If you have seen the channel before, I'm currently making another one of these, but I spoke about this a lot in week 1. And here is where we're up to. So I don't think you've seen it for the last 4 colours. So I think this one here was the last one you saw. So now we have these fades through the greener section. And now it feels like we're starting to come out of the greens and that we're starting to lighter up. Apologies if you can hear that outside. A really loud car just went by. I don't know how distracting that'll be. Hopefully not too much distracting. But that is where we're at. So, what is happening? Okay, so you can definitely see how the pattern's coming together now that we've got more on there. So this is 9 days, and I really like this section. I really like these speckles of different greens that are kind of pottering through. So we've had kind of a blue section. There was a little bit of like almost a pastel bit, and now we're very much in the greens. So I think we're probably going to continue on the earth tones, but maybe break out more into these kind of grey, not grey, brown colourways. I'm really enjoying this though. It takes me about, it's an 8-row repeat, and those 8 rows take me about 45 minutes to do, so it's not particularly long each day, so I've been able to keep up with it really easily. And I think when I go back to work next week, I think I'll still be able to keep up with it. So hopefully this will be pretty much finished around Christmas Day. Probably won't actually finish it and like sew it together in that until after Christmas. As you can see, there are a lot of ends still dangling down. I haven't yet sewn in any of the ends, so they're a little bit of a mess, but I will do that at some point. I'll probably do it at the weekend to try and not save it all till the end, but I'm really, really happy with that. As for my other crafting, I haven't really worked on very much, to be honest with you. I've kind of reached this weird point where, because I've finished a lot of my gift knits, I don't have a lot of knitting on the needles currently. I have wound up 2 skeins of yarn, so this is the latest from the Wool and Witch sub-club that I've got. So I showed you this, I think, on my last podcast. So I have this that will become a hat. I don't know the pattern yet though, but I'll probably cast that on soon. And then I have also wound up the November colourway for the Universe at Your Doorstep by Lola at Third Folk Gardens. Really love how this looks wound up. Very, very galaxy vibes. So this I'm going to start putting into those 3 projects that I've been doing with this club all year. So that's kind of where I'm at crafting, but also I keep forgetting I do still have 2 gifts to make, one of which I have not started, so I should probably crack on with that soon. But I probably won't touch that today. I'll probably pick that up tomorrow and give it a good go. It shouldn't take too long, but crochet always does take longer than I predict it will, so I'm not really sure. I'm making something up as well, so
there'll be a little bit of trial and error. But that's where I'm at crafting wise at the moment. I've not done any packing yet really either today. The day's got away from me, so I'm not really sure. You can see this wall behind me looks blanker than it probably did before. I've taken down that shelf. I did that yesterday. There's one more shelf. If I kind of tilt you, you can see up there is another shelf. That was some really weird camera work actually. Hopefully that didn't give you motion sickness. So I need to pack those books, go through it. There's a big pile of paper at the end. Whenever I've been getting like, and everyone's being so loud, there's been no noise outside all day, and then I start to film and there's just cars coming by that I really need to go through. So I might do that today, I might do that tomorrow. I might try and have a really good packing day tomorrow rather than doing it in like bits, but we'll see. I'll let you know. I'll make a decision and try and do something at the very least. But I will catch up with you whenever I've next got something to say to you, really. So I will speak to you then. Good morning, welcome. I don't need to say welcome back, this is the same video. It is Wednesday, the 10th of December here, already into double figures. It feels like this month is zooming by, but that is also true of almost every month these days, so not particularly special. But what we're going to do is I have some plans for today. Yesterday was not a particularly productive day. Crafting wise I did okay, but I didn't get really anything else done, and I just kind of watched some stuff and played some games. So I'm going to have a productive day today. I'm going to plan to have a productive day today. Let's lower expectations. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open Advent now. My main goal for today is to, I've mentioned a bit on last week's video that I have these t-shirts which are like 4 to 5 year size t-shirts for my nephew who is, he's currently 3 but he turns 4 next April, and I have crocheted a load of squares that I'm going to sew onto these as like little accents. My plan is to do that today, or at least figure out how I'm going to do it. If it takes longer than I expect, then maybe I won't finish them all today. So I need to get my sewing machine out, because also once I've done that I can pack my sewing machine because I don't need it for anything else. So that's my main plan today, and then also a little bit of packing would be nice. There's one more shelf, there's this shelf that my boyfriend needs to sort out, but there's one more shelf that I need to take down so I can fill in the holes. So that's the goal for today, but none of that matters right now because I'm going to open Advent. So like I said, it's day 10. I'm going to start with the Yarn Whisperer today. So shall I tell you the colourway name? The colourway name for day 10 is Soot-Winged Monkeys. Oh, I think that's going to be very deep and moody, which is fun. I think the monkeys in the film are like blue, aren't they? So I wonder if this will be blue. Oh, it is. That is a lot of fun. Variegation. I really like the way this blue turns out on Corridale. So that is day 10 of the Yarn Whisperer. Let's do Greenlambkin Yarn. So this is the Mrs. Claus's Kitchen. And this is called Sugar Mice. And it's a wonderful, soft yellow with a few speckles of green and kind of red throughout it. That's really pretty. No, I'm not really prepared for this, but there's stuff all over the place. Let's do the Crafty Bird. So, day 10 of the Crafty Bird is called The 6 Pine Trees. I'm assuming this will be... We're going back into the green. Maybe this one will be like very green. Is. So we've gone completely green there. I thought we were going to go more neutral with this, but we've jumped into green, so I'm interested to see where this one goes from here actually. So that was the Crafty Bird, so that's the Winnie the Pooh theme. Let's make myself a little bit of space so that I've got day 10 of Pigment and Ply. So this will probably be our tonal, I think. And this colourway is called Gladly Cancelled Plans, which is a vibe I'm very much here for. That is very pretty. So this is a really nice, cool, it's a little bit more cool toned than it's showing up on camera. Really nice cool toned brown.
I think I mentioned before, I'm getting this on their BFL 4-ply base, and I really love it. I really love the feeling of BFL, so I'm excited to make something with that base. So I don't think I've ever made anything from Pigment Ply in BFL, but I like BFL a lot. It's probably my favourite yarn. I guess that means it's also my favourite sheep, but I've never met one. Let's go for this one. This is called Chapel Ruins. I'm assuming another like grey. Oh no, well that's pretty. So it's actually kind of more of a green. There's some browns in there, but there's also some speckles. I imagine they're a bit more dense inside the skein, but if you can see there's some speckles in there that I think will pop out nicely when it's knit up. I love when you see a skein of yarn and you can kind of tell it's going to be... I've only got 4 skeins of yarn here. Oh, that's because one's in the box. I thought I'd misplaced one. I'm excited to see how this knits up. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my TedKnits, because where it's like quite random colour wise, I think it will work quite nicely on other projects. Maybe my TedKnits will become a Vertices Unite, which I've had on the brain for a little while, so that might be what I do there. But that is the end of Advent for today. So like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tidy up this table a little bit because I need the space for my sewing machine. I'm not going to start right now, it's just about to turn 10 AM today, so I will set that all up. I need to weave in the ends actually also of the squares that I've made, so I will do that, and then I will meet you back here, and I will probably take you along the journey of me figuring it out, because I'm not a particularly competent sewer. I've sewed a few things, I've sewed a few project bags before, and I tried to make a pair of like joggers, but it became like a Mobius loop. One of the legs was inside out and one wasn't. It was a bit random. But I do kind of know my way around a sewing machine, so I'm hoping it'll be quite straightforward and quite quick, but we'll see. I also get really frustrated with sewing. It's why I don't do it a lot. It doesn't soothe my brain in the way that knitting or crochet does. So you might see me get quite frustrated, but we'll see then. But I will pick up with you probably when I'm set up, and I will take you on that journey with me. So I will speak to you in a little bit. I think the lighting might be awful. You can't see it yet. I will move the camera around. I've set up my, what are you called, sewing machine, and now I need to find all the bits for it. So I thought luckily I have yarn that I feel like is the right, this isn't yarn, thread, that I think's the right kind of colours that I need, which is handy. I just don't really remember what else you need. I think I need pins might be helpful. I don't know if I'm going to pin things on. Ow! I don't know if I'm going to pin things on, or whether I might go a little bit rogue and just kind of wing it. We will see. Where are... This is a bit dusty actually. I'm probably about to start sneezing loads. Where are the bobbins? Let's take this off. Okay, the bobbins in here. They are all, some are already wound. What a time to be alive. Because I don't really remember how to wind bobbins. Fair warning, this might be incredibly boring, so apologies for that. I have my... See, I'm one of those, I'm very much all the gear, no idea. When I thought I was going to get big into making project bags, I bought loads, like, I spent ages researching what the best, like, rotary cutting tool is. I've used this, like, twice. I bought these scissors, which are really good, but they go, I don't know if you'd be able to see. You can't, there's, like, I have a scar from when I, like, snipped my my fingers with them, so let's get that out and then let's get this out of the way, because maybe I guess I also might want, oh, I'm the other way around now,
I guess having the white thread might also be useful. You might be about to watch someone just like absolutely flop at trying to do something. Oh god. Right, so here is my sewing machine. If you're a sewer, I have a Brother AE 1700. So there's some information for you. I got my boyfriend of almost 4.5 years now, this is what he bought me for my first Christmas. And that's when I knew he'd be a keeper, because this was such a 10 out of 10 Christmas gift. And I sometimes do feel bad that I've not used it very much, but oh, the instructions are in here. Love that for me. I'm going to figure out how to wind a bobbin. I think you can kind of see. Let me maybe pull you down a little bit. Is that a better angle? You can just kind of see. Hi. How do we wind a bobbin? Preparing the bobbin threads. So, okay, we have threaded a bobbin. Oh, 7 minutes 24 seconds. Don't know whether that's quick or not. So now I need to thread the rest of the machine. I'm going to go get some scrap fabric from... Oh, did I pack my scrap fabric? I bet I did. I'm going to go get some scrap fabric and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have this yellow fabric, which is like an offcut of my project bag that I've made. So let's give it a go, shall we? See, this is why I don't sew. I find this all together quite stressful. Okay, so that didn't sew, but I think that might have been my fault. I think I've done something wrong again, to be fair, but let's... Oh, it worked. And then we have a zigzag stitch. Oh, this fabric doesn't have any stretch anyway, that doesn't really help. There we go. Right, half an hour to do some scrap zigzag stitch, right. Let's do, so if this was on it would be that way, so I want the squares. Oh my god, I thought this was going to be so much simpler than it is. I should have just made him a doll, I'd have finished it by now. I want, how do I make it so I don't sew the whole thing together? I don't know. So I think what I want, like placement wise, also apologies if you're a sewer, this is going to probably really annoy you. I think I want it about there. So how do you sew onto an already like 3D garment? Question for the audience, how do you do that? Because, I mean, I'll have finished this by the time I post this video, so. I don't know how to do this. Because, and what I do it, do I need to basically do, oh, I can already tell this isn't going to go well. Do I take you off? Oh, okay, that does help. So let's say I want to start like here. But then my fabric's going to go that way, isn't it? So I want to actually, because if this was here, I'm actually, okay, so actually what I want to do is if I want this to go here, I need to start not knitting. I wish I was knitting. I need to do, oh no, this is going to be awful. Okay, I don't think this is going to work. I have to do 9 of these. Oh, am I going to get 9 of them? Right, let's go. Okay, we're not going for heirloom, we're going for handmade. Oh god, you can't even see. Right, hold on. This is actually such a rubbish angle for you. There we go. Right. God. Right. First, this was my least favourite square though, to be fair, so if this is the worst one, I'm absolutely A-okay with that. I've done it on the wrong side. Oh god. Right, so there we have it. So, a few things. Let me get you back so you can see my face. I have some thoughts. First thing is, this is exactly the opposite side of the t-shirt that I wanted it to be on, and I don't really know how that's happened. It does feel, it feels very secure, which was a worry of mine, that it wouldn't feel secure. And I've clearly stretched it on one side, which has caused the issue shape-wise, because this was a square before and now it's, I don't know what we'd call that shape. However, proof of concept-wise, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for effort I'd give myself. Execution less so. Although I do now feel like I know what I'm doing. So, let's go again. When it comes to, some of you might be screaming at the screen, when it comes to making gifts for my family, especially for my nephews who ultimately do not care, I'm okay with them being a bit rubbish to show like a journey. Sometimes I think that's fun on Christmas Day. So I'm okay with this one because that can show the beginning of the journey. Let's go with my next least favourite one, just so that all the rubbish ones can be the ones I don't like very much. So, and let's try. My main goal for this one is to get it on the right side of the t-shirt that I wanted it to be on. I don't know how I managed to mess that up before. So, I want it to be over here. I don't know how I got that wrong before. Let's do this one. I don't really like the brown ones all that much, so if the brown ones are the ones that need to be sacrificed, then so be it. No, my luck, they'll be the ones that Leo likes the most. So, I need to not stretch the crochet this time. I need to really just pull on the t-shirt to make it move through. This is going better. You can't see again. No, I have sewn the front and the back of the garment. Have I? Oh no, I just caught it a little. Okay, so front-wise, right, I need to unpick that, don't I? Where's my... I've like sewn two bits of the t-shirt together, so it's no longer functional as a t-shirt, which isn't ideal. Apologies if you're a sewer, because I imagine this is the most frustrating video you've ever watched. Hello, it's been some time. My camera died, and I think that was probably for the best. So I took some time. I put some washing on, which means you might be able to hear the washing machine, which, apologies. I've taken some time, and I think I figured some out. I've sewn a few more, and these are going to be more of a funny Christmas Day moment than a really heartfelt, everyone's crying Christmas Day moment. So let me show you what I've come up with. So here we had, it got worse and then it got better. So here we had number one, which is on the wrong side, but is flat-ish, but wonky. here we have number 2, which is flatter on the right side and wonky. Here we have number 3, which is again flatter but still wonky, and this one I did sew through other parts of the t-shirt when putting it together, so there's some random stitching on the inside. Then it got worse. So this one is less flat and wonky. This one's borderline a sideways pocket. I don't really know what happened here. However, then I had a brainwave, which is probably something I should have thought about originally. I don't actually need to sew all 4 sides. I can just sew 2 of them. So this is my attempt, my first attempt at just sewing 2 of them. And then this is my next attempt at just sewing 2 of them. It got a little bit worse again, but overall I think we'll all agree much more successful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew 2 sides. I think I could sew all 4 sides, but I think doing them as one go round is where the issue lies. And I think I'll get away with 2 sides, because if I'm honest, I don't feel like these are going to get a lot of wear, mainly because they're a little bit ugly. But I'm happy that I figured it out to now have something at least partly presentable for my nephew's Christmas. What I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do I have 3 left to put on. To be fair, I should have taken my practice one to be more of a practice, when in reality my practice one was just I'm going to go for it, which is how I approach most things. And I think you'll see why I'm not a natural seamstress and I don't see a lot of sewing in my future. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the big one, because I think this is going to look silly regardless. So let me remember to, because there's a lot of footage in this where you are just looking at my face while I make weird facial expressions. So is that a good angle? Maybe you could come round a little bit. Maybe you could be more there. Although, yeah, I don't think that gets in the way of my arms too much there. So, not that this is a tutorial of any regard, and most of this will probably be fast forwarded through. So, I think for this one, I think it would look better if it was more just like central. What do we think? I think I'm going to do the bubbles that way. And I think I might just go for it being like a central panel. What have I got to lose at this point, you know? Something new's happened that's caused a hole to appear in the t-shirt. What is this? Why is it there? Do you know what? I live to be a good time for my family on Christmas, and that's very much what this gift is, because I will present this gift to my family as though I'm really proud of it, and though it is probably... This is so stupid. Oh, my poor nephew. I might buy him something else just to like... Because at this point it doesn't even feel like it's the thought that counts. It feels like the... Right, let's go. Oh, is this the stupidest thing I've ever done? Okay, so this one's come out wonky again with a bit of a pocket. I don't know how that's happened. One thing I will say is there is still a chance that this will be my nephew's favourite gift of the year. He might fall in love with this. But my hopes are dwindling as we end. I don't know how it got worse again. I thought I'd figured it out. What's happened there? Why is that? Right, there we go. As you can probably tell... Oh, how do I? As you can probably tell, I have somewhat given up. This is why I can't do projects like this. My brain just stops caring when it doesn't go perfectly. It's a wonder I'm into knitting and crocheting, to be honest with you, because I don't know how. I had to really persevere at the start, and sewing just doesn't scratch my brain. This doesn't feel relaxing to me. If anything, I'm quite stressed. So, apologies if you're like a really into sewing and that this is stressful for you to watch, because I imagine it would be. But you know what? Oh, I need to sneeze, but. Here we go. Right, final two. Let's motor. I'm going to go, and then I will come back and I will show you all the finished objects, which I'm sure you can't wait to see. Good morning. It is day 11 of Advent. I didn't end up filming anything else yesterday, but later on I'll catch you up on my crafting and I'll show you the finished t-shirts that I ended up with. Yesterday was an interesting day crafting wise. So I'm going to open day 11 of Advent, and then today I have to do some packing. So that will be what I spend most of my day doing. And then I'll catch up with you a little bit later and we'll talk a bit about knitting and what I've been working on. Now, I'm going to start with the Greenlambkin Yarns. Now, Suzanne of Greenlambkin Yarns has put out a bit of a warning on Instagram about day 11 having something sharp in it and like asking people to be careful. So I'm incredibly interested to know what that could be. Let's do the yarn first. So, day number 11 is called Mrs. Santa Claus, and it's a really pretty pink with some kind of big pops of colour hanging out there in the middle. That's a really fun colourway. I'm really interested to see how this will knit up actually, with those kind of big pops of colour. That'll be fun. And then the extra is in here, so I feel like when someone tells me to be careful with something sharp, I then try too hard and it ends up like I'll end up cutting myself. Oh, they're cute. It is a little pair of embroidery scissors with this little polka dot on them. They are cute. From a brand called So Tasty. Always good to have little scissors. Fun. That makes sense actually, because they're embroidery scissors, so they will be quite pointy. But that is the Greenlambkin Yarns. Let's move on to the Yarn Whisperer. Day 11 of the Yarn Whisperer. Is there something else in this? Or is it just a heavy envelope? Day 11 of the Yarn Whisperer is called Verdigris Metropolis. Verdigris? Verdigris? I think it's Verdigris. I'm assuming it's in green. But I don't know. It is a green. It is it's a nice variegated soft green. I really like the kind of lighter bits popping out. I really love how this Advent is dyeing up on the Corridel base, because I'm getting a lot of really soft colours that I think will work really, really nicely together. So that is the Yarn Whisperer. God, tomorrow we're halfway through actually. That is mad, isn't it? How are we halfway through Advent already? Although, to be fair, for the Yarn Whisperer one, we're not halfway through tomorrow because it's a 31 day, so we've still got a bit of time to go. I'm going to go on to the Pigment Ply. Is this... This is the same... Yes, this is the same mood board. If I could count, that would help. So, day number 11. Kind of like run out of space on this table, so I might need to reorganise the table today as well. So, I didn't read out what it was called. Maybe I'll get good at this at some point in the 24 days, at like actually giving you the information. So, day number 11 is called Counting the Same Stitches. This was very appropriate. I have never once counted stitches, just once, because I always think I've made a mistake. And
Oh, that's really pretty. So it's a kind of cool toned brown, but then there's these big kind of mustardy yellowy pops throughout it, with then some orange speckles that are really, really pretty. That's really lovely. Really excited to see how that's going to knit up actually. Let's do TedKnits. What is this one called? Wraith. Let's do Wraith. Oh God, I just chucked the box there. Apologies about that. Oh, that's very pretty. It's showing up a little bit. I don't think this will show up very well on camera. It's a white, but it's a kind of off-white, and then it's ever so slightly variegated with some grey bits, and there are some like speckles throughout it, like very lightly speckled with some darker grey spots, and there's also a speckle of yellow. I'm not sure if that's where the dye's broken or whether there'll be more of that in between. But that's really pretty. That'll go nicely next to the ivory in that set. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that one. Where they're not numbered, I'll have a lot of fun like placing the colours together, which I think will be a good time. And then also working out what I'm going to make with it, because I have no idea. And then last but by no means least, day number 11 is called An Enchanted Place of the Crafty Bird Christmas at Pooh Corner advent. So yesterday we went deep into the greens, so I don't know where this is going to go next. Oh, we're staying in the greens, but there's a little bit more kind of browny yellows popping through, so I wonder whether we're going to end up going into the yellows for the next bit. I wonder. Maybe. I was reading the colour names then, like I'd be able to guess. I won't be able to guess because I don't know Winnie the Pooh well enough to understand all the references. But that is day 11 of Advent. So, like I said, tomorrow we'll be halfway through. I'm going to go and start packing. It's about 9:20. So I'm going to start packing and try and get a bit of packing done out of the way this morning. Then I'll have a break and maybe do a bit of knitting. And then I'll catch up with you a bit this afternoon after probably, hopefully, more packing. I'm just staring at a shelf of books, wondering how I'm going to pack them because they're quite heavy. But that's not a problem for you. So I will speak to you a little bit later on. Hello, it is later in the day now, it's just gone 4. I've not necessarily had the productive day of my dreams, but I have done some crafting, so I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update. So, first things first is my Scattering Petals cowl, which I don't know if I showed this yesterday, so it might be the last 2 days, but this is how those colourways from the Crafty Bird have knitted up. I really like the fade we've had into this green, and I'm assuming from here we're about to go far more into probably the browns, maybe dip into some yellows, which would be nice. I think from a Winnie the Pooh advent, I guess I am expecting some level of yellow, so I'm hoping for that because yellow is my favourite colour. So I'm really like how that's working out, and this base knits up so nicely. This is already so squishy. It's a really, really nice pattern for the kind of squish of it, the way the ribbing kind of intersperses with each other, I guess is the word. So I'm really happy with that. And then also I showed you yesterday, probably the day before, the yarn from Third Volt Yarns came, and I've actually already put the first one of those into the 3 projects. So I won't go into these in depth because I've got another bit of yarn to go into, but I'll just show you how the yarn crocheted up and knitted up. So this is the colourway in my Just Feel Festive shawl. So this is how it's worked up. At first it looked like it was very similar to the previous colourway, and it definitely has some of those colours in it, but it's almost like a reverse. It's almost where this is mostly the dark grey with speckles, this is mostly the speckles with small bits of dark grey. Not grey,
dark blue, which I think is a nice effect side by side. And I like how that's crocheted up. And then on my second Scattering Petals cowl, well actually my first one that I'm working on, is how it's knitted up. So I really like that. I love the contrast in how things knit up versus crochet up. So I'm enjoying that. And we're almost at the length. This is a good example of how long my Advent cowl will get, because while not exactly, this is 12 colourways and I've done 2 sections of them each, where that is 24 colourways with 1 section each. So if this fits, which I don't think it will, but it's hard to know really, because it's hard to kind of stretch it. It might do. I think it's going to be tight. I think this one will probably be fine. I don't know if I'll add any other yarn to this. I think on my Advent though one, I'll probably add a couple of rows of the Christmas Day skein just to give it a bit more length. But we'll see. I don't need to make that decision till after Christmas. But that's how it's knitted up. And then I've also added it into my granny wrap triangle. But that's just crochet, so you can see it there. So I'm done with that. I have wound up my final skein. So that's the December skein. So I will start working on those. And then soon I'm going to have 3 finished projects, which is exciting because that's my first finish of a yearly club, because I have not yet started with the Woolen Witch skein, which I have wound up, and I probably will cast on. I want to cast it on this week so that I have a hat on the go. I really just need to sit down and put some thought into what pattern I want to use that for. And then we're motoring. And then I keep forgetting, actually, I do really need to start my nephew's Christmas present, because I haven't started that. And crocheting, sometimes I underestimate how long it will take me. And I have currently got, I've got exactly 2 weeks. I've got 14 days. And I don't want to be doing it last minute on Christmas Eve. So I should finish that. No, I shouldn't. I should finish it, but I should start it more importantly. But that's it for me, really. Maybe I will start that project now. Maybe that'll be where I jump to next, just so I've at least got that Christmas present moving, because I kind of want to get all my Christmas presents sorted. I've got a little bit more purchasing I need to do for Christmas presents, but if I get the making of that one started, maybe make some purchases for my final bits I'm going to buy, then I'll feel a little bit better about Christmas and the upcoming festivities. But I will leave it there. This will probably be it for me today, so I will see you tomorrow, which is Friday, for day 12 of Advent, and we'll see where we're at the halfway point. So I will see you then. So something really embarrassing just happened, where I sat and filmed me opening my first Advent for about 2 minutes. And it turns out I hadn't pressed film. I was wondering, the camera wasn't auto-focusing like it normally does, and it was because I wasn't recording. So I have just opened day 12 of the Mrs. Claus Advent. But first of all, welcome to day 12 of Advent. I'm kind of repeating myself here. So we're halfway there, we've made it halfway. What I did say to apparently just myself is I've already done a bit of packing today. I've taken one shelf off the wall. If I like spin you around, you can probably see, I can't see in the viewfinder currently, so hopefully that wall that you've probably never properly seen before but is now blank because I've taken that shelf down. So I only have this shelf to go, but my boyfriend needs to put this one up because I'm worried about breaking any of the things on it. But that's the main plan for today, is to do a little bit more packing. It's a Friday. Although I've had 2 weeks off work, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to try and do a bit more crafting. I'm really, really itching for a cast on, so I might cast something on you today, or I might try and just persevere with some of my existing crafts, but we'll see how the day goes. What you didn't see is I have just opened day 12 of the Greenlambkin Yarns, and this colourway is called Kirsch. See, it's autofocusing amazing now. I don't think I've ever done that before. It's a good job my camera turns itself off if it's not filming for a couple of minutes, because otherwise I would have done this whole thing and not been filming, which would have been embarrassing. But this is the colourway. So this is day 12 from Greenlambkin Yarns. It's actually showing up quite well. No, it's a bit pinker than it's showing up on camera. It's showing up a bit red. And one thing I was just saying before the camera turned off, because I wasn't filming, it weirdly seems sparklier than any of the other ones. I don't know if this skate bar, the skein just had
more sparkles in, but it's a very, very sparkly pink. Hold it up there, you might get a bit of better colourway of it. But that is day 12 from Greenlambkin Yarns. Let's do the Yarn Whisperer next. So this one isn't halfway through because this is a 31-day advent. So, but day 12 of this is called Steam Curtain Wizards. Ooh, so I'm assuming this steam curtains, are we going to get like a kind of a goldy colour maybe? No, that's fun. So we have a mixture of like a very mint tealy green and then some pops of quite a dark purple coming in there. That's pretty. I like yarns like this where they're like two colours because I feel like you get really good big pops of both colours. So I like that a lot. So that is day 12 of the Yarn Whisperer. Let's do Pigment Ply next, seeing as it's on top. So this will be the last day of our current mood board. And this colourway is called The Chair That Waited. I love the colourway names for Pigment Ply. They're always very kind of like, I don't know what the word is. Oh, that is very pretty. So this is a very golden orange colour. It's a little bit more muted than it's showing on camera. It's picking up a bit brighter. If I hold it kind of out of the light almost, that's probably a bit closer to the colour. That is very pretty though. Really like that. I feel like the Pigment Ply one I'm going to get to open twice because I am putting them all back in the boxes. If I'm honest, I've forgotten what a lot of them look like. So it's like I'm going to get to go again. Let's do TedKnits. Oh, what's Epitaph? Yeah, let's do Epitaph. Is it Epitaph or Yeah, I think the Epitaph. That's very pretty. So we have a variegated kind of red and pink. The pinks are almost, they're very light, they're kind of quite a soft. It's the kind of pink that, I think I've spoken about this before on the channel. Realistically, it's actually like a light red, but obviously we have the term pink for that. But I'd say it's more of like a light red than a pink. But I don't think that makes sense to many people. But I think about that a lot, about how we have light blue, but we don't have light red because we just have another name for it. And I think that's because pink came first. But I'm not a colour historian, so don't take my word for that. And then last but by no means least, we have the Crafty Bird. And our halfway colour name for this is Fur Cones. I feel like I opened Fur Cones. Have I been reading the wrong colourway names? I don't know, but this is Fur Cones. So I'm assuming we're going to jump a bit more into the browns. I've said fir cones like that. I've enunciated that weirdly. It's like fir cones. I don't know why I've said like fir cones. It's F-I-R, not F-U-R. We are jumping. So there's still a good amount of brown, a good amount of green in there, but we've definitely got some of that brown peeking through. That's really nice. Really love the way this is knitting up at the moment, and I'm assuming we're going to enter into the yellows soon, which I'm excited about because I love a yellow. It's my favourite colour. Now that is day 12 of Advent. What I'm also going to do today is actually, I need to start editing this video because I mean, I don't have a particularly busy weekend, but I don't like spending all my weekend editing, so I'm going to start editing this video. I will probably catch up with you later and give you a bit of update on what I end up doing crafting wise, but it's about 20 to 12 now, so I'm probably going to wind this up and then probably have some lunch and figure out what I'm going to do for lunch, and then we'll crack on for the rest of the day. So I will pick up with you a little bit later. Hello, it is currently, it's day 13 of Advent, which is the last day of this video. You might be looking outside and thinking, oh, it's dark. It must be really early. It's not. It's currently 11 minutes to 6 in the evening. My boyfriend has gone out for his work Christmas do, so I thought I'd save this and film it a bit later when I have the flat to myself so that I can talk to you and end off the week like that. So, because it's the end of the day, really all we're going to do today is Advent. I'm still going to try and get my Crafty Bird knitted into the project, but we'll have to wait and see. I'll definitely wind up. I might end up having to do 2 days tomorrow, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But let's do Advents. First of all, let me have a bit of a rummage, and then I will join you once I've found all the ones that I need to get out of the bags. There we go, rummage over. Let's start with the Yarn Whisperer, shall we? So, the Yarn Whisperer Advent, or the Yarn Whisperer Day 13, is called Gilded Cobblestones. So I'm very much expecting some yellow, like a kind of golden yellow, which I think is going to look really nice based on the current, what we've had dyed up so far. Oh, that is not what I was expecting, but that is a very nice neutral actually. So this is Gilded Cobblestones. It's a very, very pale yellow with some like variegation of some darker bits in it. I'm really interested to see what this one will look like in the merino when Kitey posts it on Instagram, because I'm imagining the pops of yellow will show up much brighter, which will be interesting to see, but happy with that. Let's move on to the Mrs. Claus's Kitchen from Greenlambkin Yarn. This colourway is called Gumdrop Dreams, which could be really any colour, couldn't it? Oh, very pretty. So we've got a mint green. That's showing up very true to colour actually. We've got mint green within these big pops of colours. I really like this blue teal at the end and that golden patch there. I like colourways like this. They always make me really excited to see how they knit up, because you kind of never know where the colour's going to land in them. So that is Gumdrop Dreams. Things are all over the place actually. Let me move those over there. We've been doing some more packing today, so you'll notice there's no shelf behind me. That's the final shelf down. All the holes are filled in the walls. So once they've dried properly, I can paint over them and pretend that we didn't put shelves up in our flat. So we're starting a new mood board for Pigment Ply. So this colourway is called I'll Be Here When It Ends. And this is the mood board. We're moving a bit more into kind of orangey, pinky, peachy tones, but still with some deeper kind of greys in there. So let's see where this goes. Oh, we've started off actually. That's super pretty. We started off a bit more neutral than I was expecting, but you definitely see those peachy bits coming through. But then the majority of it, we've got this kind of light toned camel grey, camel brown. There's even some little bits of green popping through there. Where's that grey? I guess it's more of a greeny grey. So that's very pretty. Like I've said before, I'm really excited to, once I get to using these, I'm really excited to kind of reopen them. I was originally had an idea for kind of a design or a bit of a freehand knitting pattern for them, which I might still do, but I want to have a bit of a look through some other patterns to make sure. I really like freehand knitting. I like kind of figuring things out as I go, but with something like an Advent, I want to be really sure that I'm going to enjoy the project I put into. So that might deter me from doing something freehand, but we'll decide. That's probably not a decision for me to make until after Christmas. Let's do the Crafty Bird. So the Crafty Bird Day 13 is called Playing Poo Sticks. Poo spelled P-O-O-H. Do you have poo sticks in other countries? Is that like a thing you play? In the UK, I'm assuming it's not UK specific, basically what you do is if you've got like a bridge over a river, you drop a stick from one side and then run the other side, and it's kind of like whose stick will get there first. I'm assuming that is something. I wonder if you call it something different though. I'm assuming we're going to take a jump into the browns.
We are not. She's keeping me guessing. So we've actually picked up, there are some browns in there. We've still got the green, but there's a big pop of blue running throughout it, which I think makes sense because obviously with the water element of that, that is not what I was expecting, which is fun. I do wonder whether we're ever going to get to the yellow. To the future colourways. There are some colourways coming up, probably next week, where if there's not some yellow, I'd be surprised, but you never know. That is the joy of the mystery of an advent. And then, last but by no means least, let's see what we're going to pick from TedKnits today. Oh, Crypt Bloom. What interesting colourway name. That's fun. So we've got this kind of green has shown up in a few colourways, but this time it's mixed with this really deep kind of burgundy and then some lighter pink areas. That's a lot of fun. They're all a lot of fun. Advent is a lot of fun. Oh, I went out of focus there, don't know what happened. So that is day 13 of Advent. Unlucky for some, not for me. I've enjoyed all of the Advents. And that is the end of week 2. So thank you so much. If you're still here watching, I've done a bit of the editing and I'm aware it's a long one and I've not even finished editing yet. So I hope you enjoyed my foray into sewing that was unsuccessful but enlightening, I guess we'll call it. I will see you next week for week 3. Week 3 is probably going to be a bit of a shorter, slightly different video. I go back to work on Monday, which means I'll have less time to film during the day, so it's probably going to be a bit more Advent focused, but I will still try to keep you up to date with my crafting. And then after that I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the last bit of Advent, because Advent technically finishes then the following Wednesday, so you don't get a full week. But I'll figure that out and then you'll see. You don't need to do any thinking on that. So I hope you're enjoying your Advent so far. I hope you're having a good December, and I will catch up with you in a week for week 3. Bye. No, I have sewn the front and the back of the garment.